Hello, white people. Guess what? Ebony and ivory, we can live in perfect harmony. Here is an article from brookings.edu. The U.S. will become minority who white in 2045, census projects. Youthful minorities are the engine of future growth. Well, minorities are doctors and engineers, they are the engine of future growth. I don't know what's going to grow, fungus or something like that. New census population projections confirm the importance of racial minorities as the primary demographic engine of the nation's future growth, countering an aging, slow-growing, and soon-to-be declining Who white population. The new statistics project that the nation will become minority white, and even though the white folks here will be the minority, and it won't be because actually our population is going down, it's because there's so many more, the government is bringing so many more of them in, but they'll still be called minorities and will still continue to be oppressed. Everything will be anti-white. Let's see, the nation will become minority white in 2045. During that year, Who whites will comprise 49.7% of the population, in contrast to 24.6% for SPICs, 13.1% for affirmative action Americans, 7.9% for Asians, and 3.8% for multiracial populations. Now hold on a second here. Only 3.8% for multiracial populations. The media has been, I guess the media in Hollywood's been working real hard to get people to create more multiracial babies because, it's always a white woman and an affirmative action fella. Looks like it ain't working. The shift is a result of two trends. First, between 2018 and 2060, gains will continue in the combined racial minority populations, growing by 74%. Trends, these are manufactured trends, mind you. If the government stopped shipping people in, then their numbers wouldn't continue to grow, because what I'm figuring out here is that these people, they come here and they start eating the garbage that a lot of people are eating, and they end up having the same health problems as the white people are. And so they aren't creating as fast. Maybe like when they first get here, yeah, they're hyper breeders, and but their children have every single disease that people who have a bad diet are getting here. So I don't know if that's anything to be optimistic about, but just an observation that I have. Let's see here. Second, during did I say this already? First, between 2018 and 2060, gains will continue in the combined racial minority populations, growing by 74%. Well, also, affirmative action, Americans have gone down 1%. They used to be like 12 to 13%, and now they're like 11.5%. Anyway, second, during this time frame, the aging white population will see a modest, immediate gain through 2024, then experience a long-term decline through 2060, a consequence of more deaths than births. And I always thought that there was just too many people being born, and I don't think we're really having a decline. I think we're having it's all right. There's so many people here. Our infrastructure can't handle it. Gosh. And our infrastructure can't handle all these doctors and engineers who come in and they can't fix anything. They can't do anything in infrastructure. Anyway, let's look at this first one here. Racial profile of U.S. population 2025. See where the gray ones. They're on the far right. Whites, 49.7. We're at about 60% right now. White men are 30% of America. About 4% of the global population. But, white people aren't allowed to have their own countries. Well, let's see here. What else we got? Annual total growth of total minority and white populations. Among the minority populations, because they'll be the minority, I don't know. The greatest growth is projected for multiracial populations. Asians and Hispanics with 2018 and 2060 growth rates of 176, 93, and 86%, respectively. The projected what happened here? The projected growth rate for affirmative actions is 34%. No. Their numbers are going down because besides killing each other, they have a high rate of abortion. Unless somebody's going to turn that around, it's going to continue. The demographic source of growth varies across groups. For example, immigration contributes to 1/3 of Hispanic growth over this time span. Really, 1/3? That's enormous, with the rest attributable to natural increases, the excess of births over deaths. Among Asians, immigration contributes to 3/4 of the projected growth. These new projections differ from those that the census previously released in 2014. Those projected a minority white tipping point in the year 2044 due to larger projected immigration and somewhat greater growth for several minority groups. The national growth was also somewhat larger in 2014 projections. The U.S. was predicted to reach a population of 400 million in the year 2051 compared with 2058 in the new projections. Minority white tipping points differ by age. Because minorities as a group are younger than whites, the minority white tipping point comes earlier for younger age groups, as shown in Figure 3. The new census projections indicate for youth under 18, the post-millennial population, minorities will outnumber whites in 2020. For those aged 18 to 29, members of the younger labor force and voting age populations, a tipping point will occur in 2027. These tipping point years occur later for older age groups, meaning that seniors age 60 and above will continue to be majority white after the year 2060. The latter can be attributable in the near term to the staying power of the largely white baby boom. In fact, over the 2018 to 2060 time span, the only white age group that does not lose population is the 65 and older age group, an age group that, overall, grows far more rapidly than any other. Youthful diversity as a counterweight to aging whites. Clearly, it is the growth of the nation's youthful minority population attributable to a combination of past and present immigration and births among younger minority groups that is keeping the nation from aging even faster than would otherwise be the case. Figure 4, which is down here, makes clear how important minority populations will become for the nation's youth, how important they will be even through 2060. At that point in time, the census projects whites will comprise only 36% of the under age 18 population, with Hispanics accounting for 32%. This contrasts sharply with the minority contribution to the nation's seniors, which will still be over half white. Aw, they're sad about that. Well, let's see here. I don't even want to look at that one. Because racial minorities are projected to account for all of the nation's youthful population growth over the next 42 years, they will sharply decelerate national aging. Already in 2018, there will be more white seniors than children and more white deaths than births, according to census projections. I don't really think these are projections. I think those are just these wackos and their hopefulness. Yet neither will be the case for the combined minority population for the projected 2018 to 2060 timeframe. Minorities will be the source of all the growth in the nation's youth and working age population. Oh boy, we're going to be screwed. Most of the growth in its voters and much of the growth in its consumers and tax base as far into the future as we can see. Hence, the more rapidly growing, largely white senior population will be increasingly dependent on their contributions to the economy and to government programs such as Medicare and Social Security. No, older people are going to be screwed over because there will be no young people to fix the infrastructure and take care of them. This suggests the necessity for continued investments in the nation's diverse youth and young adults as the population continues to age. Oh boy. Growth rates for multiracials, Asians, and affirmative actions pertain to non-Hispanic members of those groups. All right, so here's the deal. These doomers and gloomers are always going to say the world is ending, the sky is falling, and they're going to, because they want white people to be a minority in this country. And I don't know if they know this or not, but you can't have Western civilization without Western people. It just isn't going to happen. And I do not predict us turning into a place like South Africa. It's just not going to happen. What's going to happen is that Western people are going to move away from the non-Western people, and they're going to segregate into communities. And there will be some Western people who will stay within the non-Western communities until it becomes too painful to stay there. But that's okay, because, this is a natural thing for people to be around those like them. And, you see these places falling apart, and a lot of this is manufactured. This is not natural. It is not natural that all of these non-Western people are moving into our country. This is the government creating this, and, that group with the hook nose, they're participating in it. Whether you like them or you don't like them is irrelevant. This is the trend that's happening. But don't give up. If you're a white person and you're still living in an area where the non-whites want to move, do not give up hope. Keep up with being a Western person, Your integrity, your ingenuity, everything that made Western civilization great is in your genetics. And times will be tough, but they're not going to be tough forever. And you have the ability to make it better. So by having, a good attitude, by pursuing your goals, creating goals, pursuing goals, being part of a community, connecting with people who keep you positive, and if you are of the Christian faith, reading your Bible. I would always recommend reading your Bible. Even if you're not really a Christian and you're not like this real big, deep believer, you can't go wrong reading the Bible. The Bible has some really good information and some really good, inspiring stories. With that said, I think that this next generation, these millennials, a lot of millennials just aren't really productive members of society. They aren't going to support the infrastructure. I'm not saying all millennials. I'm saying quite a few of them. And, we have this older the boomers and Gen X, they got jobs working in infrastructure and keeping in, but the infrastructure's failing because the number of people that can maintain it are going away. But the thing is that millennials are, they're at the age where they're realizing that having a desk job just isn't working for them. And it will just be a natural gravitation back towards what worked. So don't lose hope, don't lose faith, and don't listen to these doomsdayers. I mean, take a little, put it in the back of their mind what they're saying, but they're not always right. All right, white people, that's the damage for now. Thank you so much for listening. I look forward to your thoughts below.